Please chant with me. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Again, we pay homage to the Blessed One, the fully enlightened Buddha. Sadhu, sadhu. We pay homage to our teacher, Swami Nohanse, who teaches us the Gautama Buddha's Dhamma. Sadhu, sadhu. How is everybody doing?
Very good, Bhante.
Good. And did you try to read any suttas? How did you read? You read from the books. Some people have printouts. What are the new suttas you came across?
I was recommended Samyutta Nikāya, and I've been reading that.
You have the book or you read online?
BuddhismToday.com.
Okay, so from a website. Anything specifically you read on the Samyutta Nikāya? Because there are different topics, right?
The Devas and the Sons of the Devas I've finished.
Okay, so that's the beginning of the Samyutta Nikāya. Very good. So because Buddha is the teacher of gods and humans, right? It's not only the teacher for humans. What is the Pali word for that? Sattha. Sattha Deva Manusana. Buddha is the leader or teacher of gods and humans. So in the Samyutta Nikāya, the beginning part of the Samyutta Nikāya connected discourse of the Buddha, you can read beautiful suttas about gods, the heavenly beings come to the Buddha, ask questions, so many questions, hundreds of questions they ask. But if you read, you will realize that there is no difference between humans' questions and Devas' questions. They also ask about suffering, how to get rid of suffering. They ask about
blessings.
Yeah, they ask about blessings. They ask about the Noble Eightfold Path. They ask about the dependent origination. They ask about the true happiness. So you can see very clearly they ask the same questions as we do. And also they ask about six sense bases, about eye, ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind. And they ask how do we get these six senses? And the Buddha would answer, craving is the cause behind this. So it's a beautiful Dhamma discussion with the Buddhas and those deities. So you were reading about that?
Yes, but I feel like I need an example of crossing over the flood.
Oh yeah, I remember that sutta. Yeah, that's a deep sutta. Crossing over the flood means crossing over the flood is a synonym for the existence. So to cross over the existence of suffering, or to cross over the cycle of birth and death, that is the meaning of crossing over the flood. Flood is a name for this cycle of rebirth. So one deity asks how to cross over. That means how to escape from this cycle. Did you get that?
I got that, but what is an example of like not resisting, not giving in?
Yeah, so that is the meaning for the two extremes. Two extremes means, so the Deva asks how to cross over this flood. Flood is a name for the cycle of rebirth, as I mentioned first. How to cross over it without sinking down and without floating on the surface. And the answer, because I know this, how to explain this, because in my teacher's translation, in the Sinhala translation, my teacher has very clearly explained the meaning, the implied meaning there as well. So without sinking in, how to cross over means without engaging in the extreme of sense pleasures. If that means, Buddha teaches, if you like to cross over this samsara, this cycle of rebirth, you should avoid that extreme, engaging in the sense pleasures, kama sukhallikana yoga, and that's how you don't sink in. The other extreme that you need to avoid is like you have to cross this flood without floating on the surface. And that means you have to avoid the second extreme, that is the torturing your own body or self-mortification. Atta kila mathanu yoga. Okay, so that is the meaning there when Buddha says without sinking down and without floating on the surface, you need to cross over this flood. That means avoiding those both extremes, and only by following the middle path, no extremes, middle path, the Noble Eightfold Path. That is how you are going to cross over the flood of samsara. So that's a beautiful meaning. So sometimes, yes, you come across deep suttas and you need help from the Kalyanamitta. So you are welcome to ask any questions. We have a question and answer session in almost all the programs. We have a Dhamma discussion in the Deep Dhamma program. We have Dhamma discussion in the Meditate with Monk program, and also in other 8 precepts programs, day-long retreats. We have Dhamma discussions in all of those programs. So anybody, while reading, if you come across deep suttas and you need more explanations, you're welcome to ask. Anybody else? Any Kalyanamitas? Anything you would like to share? Recently you read new suttas?
Bhante, I read about the Nidikanda Sutta.
Nidikanda Sutta from the Khuddaka Nikāya.
From Khuddaka Nikāya.
What is the meaning, Nidikanda?
It's about the amount of the savings, how much merits we are saving.
Yeah, you like that sutta?
I like that sutta. Yeah.
Very good, and it's a powerful sutta about merits, right?
Yeah.
What did you learn from that sutta?
I was trying to learn, the importance of sharing the merits and accumulating the merits for our lives, especially. And then in the sutta also, the Buddha is explaining, even if we are accumulating our material wealth, and it's not that important than accumulating the merits from doing the good deeds.
Exactly.
So that is going to be very helpful for us to take these merits to the next life. The accumulating wealth, materialistic wealth, we cannot take it to the next life. So that's the essence, I call it.
That's very good. That's an amazing sutta.
Yeah.
Nidikanda Sutta. Very good.
Yes.
Bhante.
I have a question, Bhante.
Uh-huh.
So when we are actually giving dana to, especially when we are giving dana and then sharing, especially the food, and then when we are sharing that food to our deceased relatives and the devas and all those things, beings. So is it okay, or can we do every day we prepare food, for breakfast and lunch? So can we offer them those food to the devas and the deceased relatives? So are we, by doing that, are we accumulating any merits, or is it part of our tradition?
We know people offer the first part of their meal to the Buddha, right? Assuming that Buddha is alive, and by faith and respect, going in front of a Buddha statue, they would offer the first portion of the meal. And also, if you prepare food for your parents or family members, that's also a type of giving, practicing generosity. And in all of these occasions, of course, you make powerful good karma to your life. You collect merits. And in the end of the day, you can share merit with departed relatives. You can share merit with devas. And we need to understand here that if you read Petavattu, stories of ghosts, you will understand this very clearly. It's not only by giving to monks and nuns you make merit. Even by giving to human beings and animals, you make merit. And you see some stories in the Petavattu, some families, some people share merit with their departed relatives by giving food to lay people. They are not monks and nuns. And but in that case, they keep precepts, so the result is more powerful. And they share merit with the departed relatives, and the departed relatives receive that. So, for example, if you give something to your parents, your family members, your relatives, your friends, to a homeless person, to an animal, every time you accumulate merit. You accumulate merit, giving to somebody. So especially in this time period, you cannot find monks easily, right? You cannot go to a temple or monastery, but you still can make merit. And you can share, before you go to bed, if you like, every day you can share merit with your departed relatives and devas. But the most powerful way to share merit and the departed relatives will receive powerful benefits is definitely by offering food and other requisites, robes, water, medicine, and those kind of things to virtuous monks and nuns. So that you can read in the Petavattu and Vimanavattu. You know where the Petavattu and Vimanavattu is? I can show you.
The Peta means the dead people, the dead ones.
Yes. So the people who are in the ghost world, basically.
The ghost world. Yeah.
So you go to sutrafriends.org and you see here 3 dots and you scroll down. You see here Petavattu. Can you see?
Yeah.
And we click on that. stories of ghosts, Petavattu, and you see, oh, these stories are from, these are the translations from the original Pali discourses, and you can see about the departed relatives and how the merit is shared, and how to make merit by offering dana to the sangha, the monks and nuns, and how they share merit, how they receive merits. Lots of information about sharing merit, receiving merits, giving dana. Do you understand? Yeah. So that is how you read about those things. You go to Petavattu, stories of ghosts. Okay. Very good.
Bhante, I have a question.
Harry.
Yeah. I understand that there are three main types of craving. So the first one definitely is the sensual pleasure, which we all know. Now, I heard about the second one is the existence, and the third one is non-existence. I want to know more about these two and how to get rid of it. I know it's kind of so it's more of a higher, you know. But then came across.
We are going to definitely discuss about that with this with today's sutta, because it's there about craving.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it's one of the aspect of the dependent origination, one of the link, craving, tanha, and that is coming actually in this sutta that we were talking about, Tithayatana Sutta, the sectarian tenets.
Okay.
When we get to that, definitely we will discuss about three types of craving. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Very good. So, shall we learn something new today?
Question, Bhante. Just in the meditation today, talking about consciousness, it seemed like important information about the illusion, the illusionary nature of consciousness.
So we are living with a magician, right? Isn't that very scary?
And I guess the more, if we have knowledge, though, we can see through the illusion. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, does that mean we have two types of consciousness then? Sort of an illusionary consciousness?
No,
and then more
always one type, always illusionary consciousness. And when you become fully enlightened or liberated, by achieving the enlightenment, then only you will be able to live with consciousness that no longer is illusional.
Right. So over time, would people sort of become, their consciousness kind of transition from less illusionary?
Correct.
Sorry, from more illusionary to less illusionary? It's a transition?
Definitely. It's like that. Like when you get to the first stage of enlightenment, then you will see more things and how the consciousness works. When you get to the second stage of enlightenment, you see more truth in your life, how the consciousness functions.
Right, but it's the same consciousness all along.
Same consciousness in understanding in different stages.
I see. Okay, thank you, Bhante.
Very good. So we are living with magicians in our senses, right? We don't need to watch magic on TV or on shows. There are already 6 magicians. So that means they are not showing the truth. You know, the people who do magical tricks, right? They are not showing the truth. They play the tricks, right? But when we are looking at it, do we think that this is a magic? No, we feel like we are amazed by it. Same thing.
Would that be true, Bhante, even for like a very young child who's first experiencing consciousness for the very first time? Would that consciousness be illusionary, or does the illusions kind of grow over time?
No, it's already there, but it's in a kind of a unmatured stage, we can say. But it's still an ignorant based consciousness, because that baby is is a being. It's still wandering in this samsara, hindered by ignorance, fettered by craving. It's just an illusional consciousness.
Right.
Yeah, from the time of the conception, we learned last time the what is that? The combination of 6 elements. The consciousness is one of those.
The embryo.
Embryo. When there is an embryo in mother's womb, and the embryo means the combination of 6 elements. What are those 6 elements according to the Buddha's discovery?
Yeah, air, water, fire, earth,
Space,
space,
consciousness.
consciousness.
See, the consciousness is there at the right. As soon as the embryo, the baby is born, there is the consciousness. But until that baby, come to the human world, associate with Kalyana Mittas, listen to the pure Dhamma, practice the path, the consciousness still functions as an ignorant consciousness, avijja, with avijja. So the only way that being also can escape from this consciousness is by following the Noble Eightfold Path. Like, let's say a baby dies after a few months or after a few years, it's still, he goes to the next life, like he takes rebirth in somewhere else with the same ignorant consciousness. Yeah.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Avasarai Bhante, can I ask you a very short question? Now, of the 4 great elements and the Nama Rupa, the 6 elements in the Nama Rupa, are they like the 4 great elements? My understanding is inanimate and animate. That means, you know, the house, the building, whatever, the car. But then in the Nama Rupa, it will be only animate, Bhante. Is that correct?
Wrong.
No.
So we are going to learn more about that when we learn about the dependent origination, okay?
Okay.
So be patient, okay?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay, so before we go into the deep Dhamma today, I like to give this opportunity for a Kalyanamitta to read this story from the Petavattu, the stories of the ghosts. The story is about the deer hunter. You know hunting? People go hunting. This is one of those stories. Any Kalyanamitta to read?
I can read something.
May I know your name?
Ranga.
It's not clear.
Oh, this is Ranga here.
There's some problem with your mic.
Is it fine now, Bhante? No?
Now it's fine.
That's fine. Okay. You are young and surrounded by male and female deities. You look very happy with all the pleasures that you have. But in the daytime, you experience very painful feelings. What did you do in your previous life? I was a cruel deer hunter living in the city of Rajagaha. I was always looking for something to kill. I did not have any pity on innocent beings. I had a friend who was very compassionate, a disciple of the Supreme Buddha. He always said, "Do not do evil deeds, my friend. Do not be reborn in a bad world. If you wish to go to a happy world after death, then stop killing living beings." I did not listen to his advice because I took pleasure in killing and was very foolish.
Sadhu, sadhu. We rejoice in your reading. Another Kalyanamitta to read, to continue.
Bhante, it's Geeta. If you want, I can read.
Please.
Okay. Thank you for the opportunity. I did not listen to his advice because I took pleasure in killing and was very foolish. My friend again advised me, saying, if you must kill in the daytime, then please at least stop killing at night. So I kill living beings in the daytime and stopped during the night. That is why I enjoyed heavenly pleasures at night, but in the day, dogs came and tear off my flesh. Even though I only restrained from killing at night, I still gained good results from it. Now I imagine the disciples of the Supreme Buddha who practice the Dhamma diligently throughout their lives surely will attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, sadhu. We rejoice in your reading. Did
Thank you, Bhante.
Did you know about this story before? That's a very interesting story, right?
Yes.
You know, he was a hunter. We see hunters, you know, in Canada too, right? Everywhere. We see hunters and they take pleasure in hunting, going in hunting, fishing, and all these things. But fortunately, he had one of his friends was compassionate and he knew the Dhamma. What did he ask? He asked his friend not to kill, right? And he explained about the pain and misery after death, but he did not listen. But you see the friendship, the true friendship, and he didn't give up. He is still, you know, advising him. Like, he didn't give up. He was thinking about strategies and like, how can I help my friend? Like, in some way I can help. So finally he came to a good idea. Okay, now if my friend keeps killing like this, he will end up in hell definitely. After death he will be reborn in hell. Can I at least help him to avoid hell? So then he came up with new strategy and he said, okay, if you continue killing in the daytime, at least can you take precepts at the night? So he took 5 precepts at night. Right? You know, some people take 8 precepts in the morning time and they go back to 5 precepts in the afternoon, like that. So he was so addicted. See, this is an example for addiction. And also there is a very beautiful thing here. Even the people who are addicted to things have a chance to do some kind of good things. They don't need to get really discouraged or disappointed thinking that I am so unfortunate and my entire life is full of bad things and I am so addicted to this and that and I don't see any way out. We shouldn't think like that and we should not tell others like that. This is a very good example here. And then he told his friend, okay, if you continue killing and you cannot take 5 precepts in the daytime, it's impossible you think to take 5 precepts in the daytime. Well, how about at night? You don't need to go for hunting at night. Can you take 5 precepts at night? And then he agreed. He had some respect for his friend. He realized that out of compassion he is advising me, but he was so addicted he couldn't give up hunting in the daytime. That sometimes is true, right? When people are addicted to things, they are so honest. And I have been into those you know, AA meetings, Alcoholic Anonymous meetings. So yeah, when I was in Florida, I participated in some of the programs because they invited us to do some guided meditations in their meetings. And also in Markham area, I participated in some of those meetings, Alcoholic Anonymous meetings. And oh, that's like some girls, young girls, mothers, fathers, you know, they are really honest and they want to escape from these kind of addictions. But the addiction is so strong. That's what we realized, and they cry. And then only you realize this, how strong these addictions are. They are really honest. They badly need to stop these bad things, harmful things. But the addictions are so strong, and you can understand the same thing here. You will question, okay, why couldn't he stop killing in the daytime? His friend was praising him, he kept telling him, right? But it happens like that sometimes. But he did not give up, and then he suggested, how about taking 5 precepts in the night time? And he realized, oh, that's a good idea, I can do that. And he followed that. What happened was, he escaped from hell. He didn't go to hell. Instead, he went to a better world in the plane of misery. You know, the worst world in the plane of misery is hell. Animal world is better than hell, because there is some mixture of pain and pleasure for some animals. In hell, there is no mixture of pain and pleasure. Buddha teaches ekanta dukkha vedana, exclusively painful feelings in hell beings experience. And in the animal world, mostly painful feelings, but for some animals, they experience a mixture of pain and pleasure. So animal world is better than hell. The ghost world is better than animal world and hell. So this friend, because he kept precepts at night time, he escaped from hell. He was destined to hell, but because of the good friendship, he escaped from hell. He escaped from animal world, and he ended up in ghost world. Now he's a ghost. As a ghost, he experiences heavenly pleasures in the night time, but miserable at daytime. See how this karma follows you? But at least he escaped from hell. So that's a very good lesson. When you help friends, sometimes you can come up with strategies, and that way you can at least help them to get out from some worst experiences. And and also it's applied to our own lives as well. So we should never give up. We should never think that we are unfortunate, this path is not for us, I'm so addicted to these bad things, and I cannot stop doing these bad things. We shouldn't think like that. Isn't this a very good story for that? Yeah. So this ghost is experiencing a mixture of happiness and pain. Did you know about that story before? Lots of people didn't know. Yeah, beautiful lessons. So this is the last one before the deep Dhamma. Let's see what is in there. This is from Theravada. Again, you know how to go to Theravada. Theravada means the verses of enlightened monks. You can see how people like us, like living the ordinary life, doing all these worldly things, and finally they come across these teachings and decide to become monks and nuns, and finally they become enlightened, and they explain their journey. They explain their own experience, and how the Dhamma benefited them, and they advise other people. So those are beautiful things. And if you like to know how to go there, again you go Sutta Friends, and you go to scroll down, you see the Therigata here. That's where you can read the verses of enlightened monks, verses of enlightened nuns. They are very insightful sayings. So we go to this, the verses of Arahant Sirimanda Thero. Can somebody read?
I can try, Bante.
Okay, Budi.
Yeah. Theragatha 6.13, the verses of Arahant Sirimanda, 447. When the fault is covered, the defilements overflow. When the fault is disclosed, the defilement drain away. Therefore, one should be open without covering one's fault. As a result, defilement won't overflow and will drain away. 448. All beings in this world are attacked by death. Surrounded by aging, the dart of craving has been shot into them, and it smoked because of the things they desire. 449. All beings in this world are attacked by death and surrounded by aging. They are beaten continuously, helplessly, like a thief who has received his punishment. 450. Death, disease, and old age approach a person like huge fire from a volcano. There is no strength to fight against them. There is no speed to run away. 451. One should not make one's day unproductive, whether by a little or by much. Every night that is passed, his lifespan becomes shorter. 452. The last night can approach you at any time, whether you are walking, standing, sitting, or lying down. Therefore, there is no time for you to be heedless. The verses were said by Arahant Sirimanda.
Sadhu, sadhu. We rejoice in your reading. Did you see how insightful these ideas are? And this is the last one is actually a powerful one, and you can print it and stick on your wall. You can see it every day. The last night can approach you at any time, whether you are walking, standing, sitting, or lying down. Therefore, there is no time for you to be heedless. So that is how they practice the path. So that is how basically when he was a monk, before he attained enlightenment, he focused on this idea. And after he attained enlightenment, he shares that with others. One should not make one's day unproductive, doing bad things, unwholesome things, whether by a little or by much. Every night that is passed, his lifespan becomes shorter. Isn't this the truth? This is the truth. This is how they made progress in the spiritual path. They had these kind of insightful thoughts. So this is only one set of stories, verses of one Arahant, and he's an enlightened monk, and you can read beautiful things like that. So,
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.